Greetings YouTube, Skill Incarnate bringing you all the latest indie gaming goodness. Welcome back as we look at another indie game. This time I enter the criminal underworld with the isometric action shooter Tony and Clyde from Brazilian developers DCF Studios. These guys developed the fighting game Cruz Brothers on the PlayStation. This game follows their titular characters Tony and Clyde, two small-time criminals who decided to break into the big league. In order to do this, they'll need to pull off some heists that will place them at odds with some of the biggest criminal organisations in the city, local biker gangs, the Yakuza, and even the Mafia. My first impression of the game was a spiritual successor to the fantastic cooperative shooter series Kane and Lynch, along with a few references to Hotline Miami. In fact, I was hoping the game would provide a similar cooperative action experience, presenting a new cast of morally grey characters. While the game does get some areas right, it doesn't include cooperative play, and it also has a number of issues that did impact my experience. Tony and Clyde allows you to control either of the main characters as they blast their way through a series of locations including old warehouses, seedy docklands, and fancy hotels, mowing down every criminal in their quest to become the biggest fish. The player can dash and dive through enemy fire, blazing away with an arsenal of weapons, but you can only take a few hits, so you'll need to remain constantly mobile, using rolls to dodge enemy fire and using the environment to get an upper hand in gunfights. Successfully completing levels will unlock new weapons to use in future runs. While I did enjoy the John Woo style gunplay, there are a number of mechanics that make the game very difficult to recommend. Firstly, the player is followed by a fixed camera that can't be altered. This means you can't pan the camera ahead, resulting in enemies opening fire from off screen. The second issue is with the controls. The default mapping was the polar opposite of virtually every other game on PlayStation, and they can't be changed. This resulted in many accidental deaths. Finally, the graphics of the game were a little disappointing, with a rough 3D animated style that really didn't suit the dark theme of the game. I think that a pixel art approach would have been a better choice. So do I recommend Tony and Clyde? Well, I did enjoy the challenge of the campaign and the wide selection of unlockable weapons. However, the fixed camera, the frustration of being shot by off-screen enemies, and the baffling controls resulted in an experience that left me hesitant to recommend this game. The story starts out strong by introducing a cast of characters through hand-drawn cutscenes, but fails to do anything interesting with them from there. The levels feel a little empty, with large empty spaces and nothing collectible to find. Finally, the boss battles were also underwhelming, with the only difficulty coming from them requiring hundreds of shots to take down. The PlayStation has a huge choice of twin stick shooters like Enter the Gungeon, Circuit Breakers, Helldivers, and The Binding of Isaac, just to name a few. Plus, this game is $15 on the PlayStation, which I think is far too expensive for a budget title. I would only recommend this game if you're a hardcore fan of Kane and Lynch or Hotline Miami, and only then if it's on sale. If you're looking for a shooter, I recommend checking out some of the other games I mentioned, or you can have a look at DCF's other game, Cruz Brothers. I hope you enjoyed the review, and if you did, I'd appreciate a like or a subscribe as it helps the channel. I hope you'll join me next time when we review another indie game. Until then, Skill Incarnate, out.